Okay, welcome back. This is ENG 360, and this is going to be part 2 of listing 3.14. So in 3.14, we did assign magnitude adder, right? Now, at this point, let's go ahead and keep it in simulation mode, but then let's create a test bench file. So what I will do is I will call this guy TB, let's see, assign mag add VHDL test bench, okay. And then I've only got one component I can wrap a test bench around, which is that guy, so I'll just click next and finish. And then kind of the kicker here is, look over here, you see that you get that nice little hierarchy there. There is my component that we designed in the previous video, and this is my test bench that was stubbed out. Now let's go ahead and get rid of all that code so we can kind of focus on what we want to, the pertinent VHDL here. Now, I'm sure, maybe I'll use that. I'll keep that guy in there. And then, let's see. Alright, now remember we talked about component instantiation, the 87 versus the 93. Well, this uses 87, so it has to declare the component. And there's a declaration of the component that we're going to instantiate. Okay, and then here's your input signals. And I usually put TB in front of those. I guess I could do that here too. TB for test bench, so we can kind of distinguish what's part of the test bench and what's part of the actual component. Okay, now I'm not going to use any clocks. We'll get to that, but not yet. And now this part of the code right here is where we instantiate the component. Okay, so we're creating an instance. Now you got to remember the variables on the left are the variables of the component, right? Now the variables on the right are the variables of this file right here, which we just changed from A to TBA and to testbench B and testbench sum. Okay. Now down here I have a process that's associated with a running clock. Well, I'm not going to use the clock, so I'm going to delete that. Now here's my stimulus process. Okay, so let's see. What am I going to do here? We are going to put in, well, let's see. Yeah. What we'll do is we will set up some variables here. So let's wait maybe 50 nanoseconds. And then what I will do here is I will just set up some variables. Let's do A takes on the value of, let's see, what are these 4 bits right here? So let's do 0, 0, 1. And then we'll say TB, B takes on the value of positive number 2. And then we'll add those. And then what we'll say is wait for 20 nanoseconds. Okay? And then I will just wait indefinitely there. Alright, let's go ahead and save that. And let's see, select your component. Make sure that you got your nice green check mark here. And then select your test bench file. Same thing, got to compile that guy, behavioral check syntax. Make sure test bench is selected, and then double click simulate behavioral model. And right now what I'm doing is I'm basically adding a positive 1 to a positive 2, which better give me a positive 3. Okay. Alright, the other process, when the simulator that comes up is actually a different process. Okay, so there it is right there, different process. And let's do zoom to full view, and let's see, so what do we have right there? I've got 0 here, and I'm getting a 0. Alright, that's the initial period. I waited for like about, what, 50 nanoseconds? And then at this point, what's on A? Well, 1 is on A, 2 is on B. I add 1 plus 2 and I get 3. And then it pretty much extends the remaining time because I have 1 microsecond here. Now let me close this and change up some things here. And notice we added 1 to 2. We waited for 50 nanoseconds, and then we added 1 to 2 and we got 3. Okay, what I want to do instead of this wait statement down here is put something else. Alright, let's onto here. Terminate simulation. I kind of like using this guy. Yeah, you may or may not like it, that's fine, but you can use whatever you want to use. But I like this. Put some dummy string in there. And then severity, failure. And what that's going to do is it's going to actually zoom that whole window so I can see everything. It's not going to fill in the right with dead space. So once again, let's make sure everything is up to snuff here. Alright, so then that's our component. Let's get our test bench file. Right. and then make sure Testbench is selected, and let's do simulate behavioral model. And let's see, what do we get here? And if I do zoom to full view, there you go. It's initially 0, 50 nanoseconds, and then I add 1 to 2, I get 3. Alright, let's kind of change things up a little bit. This guy right here, let's do a comment. This was 1 plus 2 equal 3. Alright, so, and let's just copy this whole block here. Alright, so let's do, how about 1 minus 2, which had better be a negative 1. So I want a 1 and I want a minus 2, so I need to set the sign bit there. And then let's copy that. And let's do, how about a negative? Yeah, you got those, let me scoot it over a little bit because the comment signs look like minus signs, don't they? So now I've got a negative 1. A negative 1 would be that. A negative 2 would be 1, 0, 1, 0 in sign and magnitude. And that should give me what? A negative 3. Okay. And let's do, let's see. So we did 2 positives, a positive and a negative. Let's actually make this a negative and a positive, which would be plus 1, wouldn't it? Okay, be plus 1, and then the last thing is just 2 negatives, negative 3. Alright, so let's double check this. Up here I've got 1 plus 2, there's 1, there's 2. Here I've got a 1, and then I have a negative 2, which is going to be a negative 1. Here I've got a negative 1 and a 2, so that needs to be a 0 there. And that should give me a positive 1. And then here I've got a negative 1 and a negative 2, which should give me negative 3. Alright, yeah, let's go through here, select everything. Let's see, get the component. Okay. And then the Testbench, click that guy. Okay. And then make sure Testbench is selected, simulate behavioral model, and let's see if this sign magnitude adder actually works. Okay. Now at this point, since I put that assert in there, I can go zoom to full view, and it looks nice. Notice we waited 50 nanoseconds before we did anything, and at this point right here, I set 1 on A, 2 on B, I added those and I got positive 3. Then at this point right here, I put 1 on A, and then this right here is 1, 0, 1, 0, which is a negative 2. Well, a negative 2 in binary, we should actually change these to binary, it might make more sense. Radix, binary, radix, binary, and let's do radix, binary. Yeah, so at this point right here, we're adding a positive 1 to a negative 2, and I'm getting a 1, 0, 0, 1, which is a negative 1. All right, that makes sense. At this point right here, I've got a negative 1 and a positive 2, and I get a positive 1. And at this point right here, I have a negative 1 and a negative 2, and I get a negative 3. Great. So there you go. The signed magnitude adder works. All right, thanks for watching.